let's discuss. So we have seen this within this phase boundary, it's a constant line. Okay. If you want to remember that, this one. Okay. So this you seen that this thing, this slope thing. According to that, during phase change, it should be a straight line. Okay. What else? Now, let's talk about the critical point. So let's say this is curve 1, curve 2, curve 3, curve 4. So as we are going up, pressure is increasing. Okay. So in this constant pressure line, of course, pressure is increasing as we are going up. And that you can easily understand if you do some maths. Similarly, as we go up, temperature is also increasing. As we go up on these lines, temperature is also increasing. These are constant temperature lines. T1, T2, T3, and so on. So temperature is also increasing in this direction, and pressure is increasing in. So let me put it properly, and then I'll show you a proper diagram. This is a rough diagram to understand the concept of Mollet diagram, and then we'll see the proper diagram. So let's say this is P1, P2, P3, P4, and so on. So P4 is greater than P3 is greater than P1. Okay, and if you talk about temperatures, T1, T2, T3, and so on. So T3 is greater than T2 is greater than T1. So eventually what will happen that you will reach to a pressure and temperature beyond which you cannot liquefy a gas, or you cannot make vapor, or you cannot make liquid phase. And so that's why you see somewhere here a critical point. Beyond that, it doesn't matter how much you compress the gas, you won't be able to create this saturated liquid. Okay. So that is point number 1. That is not point number 1, but that is another point. Okay. So this is the rough description. Don't indulge too much yourself on this critical point, because what is more important for us is below critical point. So now I will show you the more useful diagram, and that is here. So now you can see this diagram, and now I will tell you how we draw constant temperature lines. But before that, try to see the aspects which we discussed just few minutes ago in our discussion. Okay. So this is more clear diagram. So of course this red line is phase change line, as you can see, and the blue lines, as you can see, are constant pressure line. This 0.2 bar, 0.3 bar, 0.03 bar, 0.05 bar, and so on. Okay. So that we can create. Why? Because we learned that dou Q at constant pressure is simply dH, and dou Qp by T is simply ds. Okay. So it means that we can do this process easily at constant pressure, and we can create this blue line. Not a big deal. Blue line can be created easily. Okay. That is constant pressure line. Fine. So let's say you have created constant pressure line, and when you will create this constant pressure line, what will happen? Let's say if I take this 0.2 bar, it's a monotonically increasing graph, and it will not saturate. That's why you see its curvature, because you will keep on increasing the h, means with h, s will keep on increasing. Open share tray, desktop, entire screen, share. You can see my screen now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. So what I was saying, that we can create this constant pressure line, and it's the convexity is like this. This is the correct one, and this is wrong. This, because there is no physical reason why we should see this that H should saturate with S. There is no physical reason. Okay. Okay. So again, let's say I have a blue curve like this. As soon as I will reach to the phase change point, as we discussed, after that it should be a straight line. So this is a straight line. Okay. Straight line. Okay. And after this, it's a curved line. So let's say we have created such blue curves, and again you will get these phase change point. How you will notice that phase change point? That when you create such curve, you will see that beyond a certain point, it is curved, and after that it becomes straight. So that way, and of course you are doing the experiment, you can see also. Okay, there is a phase change. So when you will get such points, and when you will meet them, you will get this red curve, the envelope. That is point. So that is one thing. So we have created this, let's say, constant pressure line. Now we come to constant temperature line, which I already discussed with Rahul, as he asked. So I will again tell it. Okay. So let's say we have these. Now we want to create these green lines, which is constant temperature line. Remember what we have done, that we have created HS diagram at constant pressure line, these blue curves. Now we are interested in creating the green lines, which is constant temperature curve. So let's say if you choose a pressure line of 0.5 bar. So this is 0.5 bar line, and then in this 0.5 bar, let's say you took this point, any random point. Remember that green line right now doesn't exist. You are trying to create that green line. So you have taken a point, this orange point where I have taken, you have taken a point, okay, on that 0.5 bar line, and you draw a tangent there like this, and note down the slope. So we know that the slope will give us temperature, and when you did it, you found that temperature is coming out to be in degree 150 degrees Celsius, let's say. That you noted down. You marked a point on this a random point, 0.5 bar curve, and then you took a tangent, and then you measured the slope. In Kelvin, you will get it, and then when you converted it, it coming out to be 150 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now you have to find out the points on another isobars where you get the same slope. Then what will happen? If slope is same, temperature is also same. So then you went to 0.2 bar line, and you start drawing various. You started drawing various tangents. Let's say I draw a tangent here, here, and when you draw it here, you found that again it is coming 150 degrees Celsius. So you mark that point. You mark that point on 0.2 bar line. Similarly, let's say you went to 2 bar, you went to 1 bar, and then again you start drawing tangents. Okay, so on let's say 1 bar, you start drawing tangents here, 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 and then suddenly you realize that you got a point where again slope is coming to 150 degrees Celsius. So this way, on different constant pressure line, you can mark a point where the slopes are equal, and if you join those points, you will get constant temperature line. Okay, for example, for this is 150 degrees Celsius. Okay, So Vaishnavi, does it make sense? It's fine, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think this much information is enough right now on a Mollier diagram. More than this, we don't need. Okay. We can again and again revisit this diagram whenever we'll cover more concept. But I think more or less it's clear. So what information we have here is, we have information of pressure, temperature, and for those pressure and temperature, we have enthalpy and entropy. Now you will be thinking that why we need this, because mostly engineers, especially chemical engineers, deal with enthalpy and entropy. That's why this Mollier diagram is very famous. With this, a knowledge of phase diagram, different kind of phase diagram of pure substance, we go to real life problems. Okay. So I have a
So,
suggestion that, yes, please.
so what is the reason for the pressure to increase as we move upward?
What is the reason? No, this is, you should ask another way, that when we increase the pressure, then why these HS curves are shifting upward? Is it? That's what you wanted to say, right?
Yes, that is the question.
Yeah. Okay, let's think. That's why I said that we can go in all these doubts and we can get an answer if we do some maths. Let me see. Let me do it if I can get the answer right now. And one can ask such many questions, that why this curve is shifting leftward, rightward, and it's good that you ask yourself. Maybe I won't be able to answer your all questions right now, or maybe later also, but probably you can answer. Okay, let me see. So your doubt was that why, when pressure is increasing, the curves are shifting upward. So for that, the simple thing which I would like to do, that I'll take a constant entropy line. Let me decrease this. So I have taken a who was it? It was Vaishnavi or who else? Who was?
So, Samira.
Sorry, come again. This. What's your name?
So, Samira.
Samira. Okay. So I have taken a constant entropy line. Okay, this vertical line. Fine. Okay. Let me see if I can answer. Now, if we increase the pressure, then what is happening on these HS diagrams? Let's say if I take blue curves, what is happening? H is increasing with P, right?
Yes.
You agree? And if we justify this, our answer is done. You agree? Right. That's how we answer these questions. That if you want to know the nature of the curve, that where it should shift, then first fix one. So at what we are, if we say that at a given entropy, at a constant S, if H is increasing with P, then I think I answered your question, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you are convinced with this, then let's see why. So H should increase with P. Let's see what relations we have. So we have dou. So we have dou QP is DH, and we have dou QP by T as DS. Okay. You want a relation of H versus P. I think I should be able to get it. That's not a problem. H we know as U plus PV. Okay. And H I also know as, so dou H by dou S, constant P is T. Okay. So can I answer? Of course, from this I cannot answer. There is no point of writing this. We are talking about behavior of H and P. So let's see how we can get it. So if I try to calculate, in fact that's so if I take if entropy is constant, and if entropy is constant, can we comment something? Very difficult to comment directly, because entropy consists of heat and temperature both. So if I do maths here, dou H by, you want to know dou P at constant S, dou H by dou P at constant S. It is possible if I draw this diagram, just wait. That's why I say it's a bit early to ask this question, but that's fine if you ask. Let me see. S to T, P to V, and H, G, A, U. Okay. So I can express it in terms of SMP, right? So DH is DS, DP, TDS, VDP. That I'll tell you what I'm doing. I mean later on. Let me first figure out. From S it is going, and from P also it is going. So that's fine. TDS plus VDP. Dou H by dou S. No, dou H by dou P at constant S is coming out to be volume. So if it is coming out to be volume, if it's coming out to be volume, so if we keep the entropy constant, it gives us volume. Okay, I have answer for this. See, this will come when we will read thermodynamic potentials, and this is called Maxwell relation. Okay, Samira, fine.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just that's why I said it. There are so many things which is too early to ask. But since you asked, just take this as a, you can take it as a curious point, and then we'll again come back to this curious point. The diagram which I draw is just a smart way to learn these relations. These relations are called Maxwell relations. Maxwell given nice relation in thermodynamics. Okay, so from there you can, and in fact, even if you don't have this diagram, this we can derive, and we'll do that right now. So, but before that, you assume that this is correct. DH is TDS plus VDP. We'll see. Okay. Is it fine? That let's say it is true. We'll try to reach to this relation without what I have drawn. So then what will be dou H by dou P at constant S? Tell me. When you are saying constant S, this term has gone, right,
Yeah.
Samira? This term has
Yeah.
gone. So dou H by
That's-
dou P at constant S is coming out to be V. And
Yes.
volume is a positive quantity.
Yes.
So H has to increase with P. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I tell you that we can again visit the Mollet diagram many times, and we can answer all our questions. Now, since you discussed, let's see if we can reach this relation without this Maxwell diagram. DH is TDS VDP. Let's see. I think we can. Okay, let me try. We have DH is how we can write DH? DH as du plus d of PdV plus VdP, right? Fine. Then we can write dq as TDS. Okay. And what we want to that's it. What we should do, and what is first law? I should write it dou Q. First law is dou Q is anyone? Samira, you tell me. Dou Q is du
PU plus
plus
PD.
PdV, because we are considering only PdV work. Okay. So this I can write dH equals to what I can write dou Q
Dou Q plus
plus
VD.
VdP, and dou Q is nothing but TDS, right? That's all. It is to that relation.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So even if you don't remember the diagram, it's and then here you can see that dou H by dou P at constant S is volume. Volume is a positive quantity, so it should increase with P, and that's why all this HS diagram shifts towards upward as pressure increases. Because if you take any constant entropy line, I was selecting my pen, so that's why I took a call. So for any such S line, constant S line, it's true. And that's why curve should go upward. Okay, so my request to all of you is that I think we should now leave this diagram because there are many things which you can ask and those all are very interesting. So we will again revisit, right? In fact, my suggestion is that when we will finish the second law, you can again think about this diagram. And homework for you is that try to get familiar with these diagrams. Now let's solve two problems so that these diagrams will be more useful. And then today I will send the assignments. Fine, this much is enough. Okay. Okay. So what we have seen is the graphical form of various phase diagrams. There is something called tabular form also. For water, it is called so it's called steam table. Generally, we deal with water, but it is also available for another liquid like freon. So whatever liquid it is, if I will ask you, I'll give you the steam table of that liquid. Okay. These are easily available on Google, and if someone has booked this Engineering Thermodynamics by YVC Rao. By the way, anyone got the book? Either from some unknown sources, from internet, or a hard copy? Anyone? I think at least you should have one book, one text. So if you want, you can buy this or whatever, you can arrange this. So anyone got this book, Engineering Thermodynamics by YVC Rao? If anyone got it, just tell me so that I can show you where the steam table is, and then I will explain it here also. Anyone?
Sir?
Yeah.
So for this course, we can follow that book?
Yes, for this course, you can follow this Engineering Thermodynamics for half of the course. Okay.
Okay.
And for another part, there is something called Chemical Engineering Thermodynamics, which Professor Gargidas will teach. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So the first book is engineering. So this course is actually quite compact, full of many things. The whole thermodynamics is covering one. So I try my best that concepts should reach you. Okay, and that's why it took a lot of effort. Anyway, so for first part, what I am teaching, which is the fundamentals of basic thermodynamics, you follow Engineering Thermodynamics by YVC Rao. And for second part, same author, it's called Chemical Engineering Thermodynamics. If you want a more philosophical and more, what we call as more fundamental understanding, then I'm writing the name of the book. Very good book. You can try to find out. This is by Francis H or S, I don't remember, Huang. The book name is same, Engineering Thermodynamics, Fundamental and Applications. Very good book. For second law, I follow that book. Very nicely written. Full of, because see, second law is a philosophy. And if someone will not explain you from that philosophical point of view, you will not enjoy. And luckily, I got this book in our library. And there is only one piece, so you will not get it. It's with me. So in Engineering Thermodynamics, Fundamentals and Application, I guess that's what title is. You can give a Google search. It's a famous book, Fundamental and Application. It's not available in India, by the way. I checked on Amazon and Flipkart, so I don't think it can be shipped. Yeah. So we are talking about steam table. Anyone got so with this discussion? Anyone got the book, by the way? If not, it's fine. I'm just asking. So if there is no yes, it means no one procured any book. I suggest if you are looking
Sir,
for.
is it engineering?
Come again?
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, is it engineering thermodynamics
Engineering
by YVC
thermodynamics.
Rao through examples?
No. That is a solved example. That's a waste. Don't buy that book. If you don't want to put effort and if you want to see solved examples, then you can order that book. No, I am saying Engineering Thermodynamics. Let me see. Yeah, it's simply Engineering Thermodynamics by YVC Rao, Fundamentals and Application. Let me see. Sorry. I'm wrong. The name of the book is Introduction to Thermodynamics and Introduction to Thermodynamics by YVC Rao. Not engineering, sorry. The name of the book is, which you should follow for my part, which is cheap, not very costlier book, is, and I was the name was not correct. An Introduction to Thermodynamics by YVC Rao. This is for my part. For Professor Gargira's part, Chemical Engineering Thermodynamics. YVC Rao. By the way, there is not a set rule that you should follow this book and that book. There are so many nice books on this topic that you can follow any book. The ultimate goal should be that you understand the concept. So nothing like that. And this stream table is available in all such books. I mean, you can follow this book by Yunus Senjal also. It's very, with Senjal, you can type Senjal Thermodynamics, you'll get that book. So anyway, whatever book you follow, you will see the stream table. Okay. And such stream table I am showing here. So in this stream table, what you see? There are two types of stream. I mean, two ways to represent it. This is temperature column. Okay. This is temperature column. Achha, when phase change will take place at, let's say, at a given temperature, then is it like pressure can be anything at that phase transition point, or it is fixed? Can anyone comment? Let's say for water there is a phase change. It's fixed, right? So that's why for every temperature you see a pressure. So for 10 degrees it's 0.1228 bar. For 11 degrees it's 0.013112. Okay. So for a given temperature there is something called saturation pressure. So you can call it saturation temperature and saturation pressure. That is also the terminology people use. Or you can say the more precise way, for a given temperature there is a saturation pressure. It is nothing but the point of phase change. Okay. So I am telling you how we read this. So for a given temperature, if you are in that liquid vapor phase change regime, then is pressure known or not if I tell you the temperature? So Bairagi, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
What is your first name?
Sahil.
Sahil. So Sahil, if you are in this regime of liquid vapor change, and if I tell you the temperature, do I need to tell you the pressure also?
No, sir. It will be
So
fixed.
you can read it from steam. It's fixed.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And then, as I told you, in that liquid vapor regime, if you mark a point, it's a mixture of both vapor and liquid. So you have to know the specific volume. Specific volume. We'll talk in terms of specific thermodynamic property. Is nothing but total volume by mass of the total mass of the system. So this is VL or VG. I have to zoom it. Let me zoom it. Oh, anyway, it's written. No, it's saturated liquid. Oh, it's already written. So clear. So let's say if I choose let's say if someone asks me at 13 degree, and if I am in this regime, this liquid vapor regime, then pressure is fixed. And then if you mark any point on this, and if you want to know the volume, the specific volume, then for that you need fluid volume, specific volume, saturated, because see, if you take any point in between, right, then what we know is that this is a mixture of saturated liquid and saturated vapor. So let's say if you are interested in calculating V at this point, total volume, then it will be, yes, Sahil, it will be Vg into
Vg into its mole fraction.
No, X, quality.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. And Vf into 1 minus X.
1 minus x.
Okay. So Vg we will get here. That's one thing. Vg will get here. Sorry. Here. This is Vg, yes. And this is Vf. The specific volume of saturated vapor, the specific volume of saturated liquid at that given temperature and pressure. Okay. This I don't I never follow this this U thing. I don't use it. I only use V, H, and S. Okay. Now let's talk about the specific enthalpy. So this is enthalpy of saturated liquid, and this is very saturated vapor enthalpy here. And this is simply the difference of these two. Okay. Hg minus Hf. So this also you don't need to use. And then entropy of specific entropy of saturated liquid phase, saturated vapor phase. With this information, you can solve the problem based on water. So either you can use this tabular form or you can use the various diagrams. Okay. So in exam, either I will give the diagram or I will give you this steam table chart. Okay. So you should know how to read this. There is another way. Yes. Oh, someone's microphone is on. Okay. Then there is. So is it clear, Sahil, how to read these tables, more or less?
Yes, sir. But isn't mole fraction and mass fraction same, because both of them are water? So we will get the same values.
I think so, yeah, true. Yes, but conventionally it's based on mass. So
Yes.
see, generally there is this molar following moles is very good when you have only gas. But once it's a phase change, conventionally people followed this constant mass. We will see control volume and control mass. Okay, there is something called control volume and there is something called control mass. So that's why probably it's more preferred. And again, then you have to define everything in terms of molar, no? Molar enthalpy, molar. So since this whole conventionality is coming like that, that we know the specific volume, specific entropy with respect to mass. So that's why we have taken this fraction also in mass. Okay, so you got the point?
Yes, sir. I got the point.
That's it. Because since the specific volume and specific entropy, everything is in terms of mass. So we defined the fraction also in terms of mass, and we call it quality of steam. So higher the X, it's more the saturated vapor content is more. Okay. So that's how we read this. There is another way to represent the same diagram, and I'll show you that here. Yeah. Yes. So this is also a steam table. And here how we represent it? We represent it like this. Here, first pressure is given. So let's say 200 degrees Celsius. So if you are in this phase change regime, then temperature is also fixed, right? Here. So that's why in the bracket you see temperature is given. For 200 degrees Celsius, if you are in this phase change regime, temperature is also fixed. And for this pressure and temperature, you have data of VHS. Same thing, okay? In a different fashion. Oh, sorry. I'm reading a wrong table. It's a superheated steam. I'm very sorry, guys. I thought it's a it's a steam table for this phase change regime. It's superheated. I haven't seen it. Very sorry. Okay. So this I will come to this after a few minutes. Before that, I want to discuss another diagram. Sorry, wrong. It's not the correct diagram. Go to the correct diagram. It seems I haven't put it. But so let's take it as homework, or let me see if I can find out on the Google right now, and I can show you. We want steam table in terms of pressure and temperature. No? Let me see. I thought I put it, but that was superheated steam. I will come to superheated steam in a minute. I think this one will work for us. All the entropy is missing here, but that's fine. Can you see my screen? Sahil, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. I can see your screen.
So you can see this GIF image on the right hand side.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is another way to, let me paste it there. Why? It will take a minute. Copy. Let's put a new slide. But it's better you take some help from some book. In book, it's given very nicely. On internet, half of the things are missing. So you see, this is another way to represent it. I hope it's a steam table. It's a saturated steam table. That was superheated. I'll come to that superheated thing. Okay. So again, as I told you, that for a given pressure, let's say 1 bar, temperature is fixed. Okay, although it's Fahrenheit, but you can find that in degrees Celsius also. And then for that pressure and temperature, if you are in this regime, then if for a given pressure, temperature is also fixed. And if you are somewhere here or here, in order to calculate that, you need VF, which is here, specific volume of liquid, saturated liquid, specific volume of saturated gas, and then enthalpy. Entropy is missing here. There should be entropy table also. Okay. So this is the same thing in a different format. Rather than TP, it's PT. Okay. So Bhavna, is it clear? The saturated steam table. Okay. Anyway.
Yes,
Anyone
sir.
else? Okay, perfect. No problem. Now I'll ask you a question. So since, let me see whom I should ask. And since we don't have much time, so I'll ask it to Ayush. So Ayush, you are there, right? Ayush? Ayush is not there today. You are there, Ayush?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I now I'm trying to what I'll ask you. Tell me what this regime is called here. What we call this
Sir, I
regime?
can't hear you.
Now you can hear me?
Wait a minute, sir. Let me switch
Sure.
the network.
It's fine. If there is some problem in connection, I can discuss with someone else. No problem. Acha, so whom I should discuss? Okay, Bhavna, you help me. So what this red regime is called? I mean, this regime. Do you remember? What we call this regime?
Sir, I can't see the PPT right now. Like, I think there is some network issues. Like,
Oh, is it? Okay,
yeah.
fine. Is it with everyone or with only Bhavna?
No, sir, we can see.
You can see, na? Yeah. So who will help me? Let me see. I think. Okay, Samira, you try. Okay. So what this red regime is called? Can you tell me?
Superheated steam.
Superheated, right? That we have seen. Superheated. So this saturated steam table will work only if you are in this regime. This liquid vapor regime here. But if you are in superheated regime, you need another table. Because there, so if we are in superheated regime, Samira, do you think that if pressure is given, then temperature is also fixed? Or rather than say, I should ask that if we change the temperature, in fact, there is no change. So anyway, we can change that. So this, see, the point is that in superheated regime, it's a pure gas. So you can, if you change the temperature, pressure will also change. On the other hand, when you are in this green regime, temperature and pressure both are fixed. So for that's why you need another table. So let's go to superheated steam table. Okay, here, and then I will make a new page. So here, let's try to read this superheated table. Now, how you will identify whether your system is superheated or not? Okay, so listen it carefully, and then we'll end this lecture. I'll just tell you, show you a small problem, and then we'll end this lecture. So let's say I have told you that you have steam. You have steam at 100 degrees Celsius. Sorry, 100, sorry, not 100 degrees Celsius. You have steam at 200 kilopascal. Listen it carefully. You have steam at 200 kilopascal. Okay, and the temperature of the steam is 150 degrees Celsius. So can you comment, Camera, whether it is superheated or not?
Yes, sir, it is superheated.
How you checked it?
Saturation temperature is 120.
Very good, very good. So since at 200 saturation temperature is 120.21 and the temperature of my vapor phase is higher than this temperature, it's sure that it's superheated. Good. And then once you have in superheated regime, it's a kind of, you know, a simple gas. So when you will increase the temperature, okay, then it is expected that entropy will increase, volume will increase, okay, enthalpy will increase. So that's why for a given pressure in superheated steam table, in bracket, saturation temperature will be mentioned. Why? So that you can identify whether you are in superheated regime or not. That is point number one. Listen carefully. In superheated steam table, see the pressure at which your system is, and then see the temperature in the bracket, that is saturation temperature. If your temperature is higher than that, your vapor is superheated. Once it is superheated, then check what is your the temperature, 150 degrees Celsius. So at 200, you have to follow these values at 150 for VH and S. Samira, why there is no VF, VG here? Or SG, SF, HG, HF?
Temperature is less than the saturation temperature, so we have to follow the saturated steam table.
No. Let me again frame this. What our steam is at 200 degree kilopascal, 150 degrees Celsius, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you said it's superheated. So now my question is that, so if I want to know my specific volume, specific enthalpy, specific entropy, then I'm saying here is the answer. 200
Yes.
degrees Celsius, 150. So here it is only written VH and S. Why not VG, VF, HG, HF? Why not that? Why?
Because it's completely in the vapor phase.
That's it. Simple. Very good. So it's completely gas. Okay. So these all are gas. G. So there is no need for fluid. It's completely vapor phase. That's all. And then you can read any steam table. Okay. Let me share. I thought I'll solve two problems, but we haven't started the first one yet. But that's fine. First, you should get this concept, and then we can increase our pace. So let's see the today's problem, which I plan to solve. But we can discuss it, and then in the next class we'll solve it. You have class after this? Anyone? You have class after my class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I think you need a break, right? So let's take end this lecture here. Homework is as follows. Try to get familiar with the various tables, tabular forms, and these various graphical forms. Go through this problem, okay, and let's see if you can get an answer. I'll send you the answer, okay. Then I'll upload 3 assignments today. You can solve assignment 1 and 2. Assignment 3rd will be based on the problems, 2 problems, this one and one more problem, which we'll solve in the next class. Okay. Okay, guys. Happy weekend. Chalo, bye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, take a break and then join your next lecture.